This is the Page Publishing Book Club. I'm your host, Alice Stockton Rossini, on this 4th of July weekend. Hope you're enjoying some fireworks and a barbecue and taking some time out to think about America's birthday. Happy birthday, America! As we do every week on the Page Publishing Book Club, we feature authors living the American dream. Authors who manage to find the time to do something they always wanted to do. And that's write about the things they enjoy, the situations, people, or politics who've inspired them, and the process they went through to get their ideas from page to print. Our first author combines patriotism and love for America with some frustrations he's experienced with a government agency, all in one book. Stephen Lunsberg is on the line, and he wrote Rugged American Spirit, The Fight of Freedom.
It's patriotic. It's inspired by God, of course, through our forefathers. And I'm a strict believer that the Spirit of God came through our forefathers, and they gave us this great and wonderful land we call good old U.S. of A. So I'm very patriotic. I'm very proud of America. What inspired me was the gift of freedom and how we should cherish this gift. I've been around the world, been in bad situations. I've been in, of course, I served in Iraq and Afghanistan as an American contractor prior service. I saw how other people lived. I saw how those people lived, and when I got back, I was like, wow, we've got to preserve what we've got. This is the greatest country in the world we live in. So that was basically the inspiration behind it, the whole thing. And it's basically just a battle to preserve freedom for future generations is what it is.
You were in Iran and Iraq as an American contractor.
Yes, that's right.
That must have been really interesting. What were some of the things that you saw there?
It was interesting just the way they lived. I mean, of course, it's a third world nation. The strange thing to me was they had everything they needed, natural resources, but they lived like that. And of course, it's been a war-torn country for a while now. There's a few stories I have in there. One story in particular about an Iraqi I met. His name was Alpha. And this man could quote the Constitution and the Declaration of Independence without looking at a copy. And when he talked about America, his eyes just lit up like a Christmas tree. This guy was amazing. He loved America so much. I mean, that story really hits home because it's really hard to tell. Alpha was killed shortly after we became friends. Front gate at Anaconda, and a car bomb went off and killed him. And he never got to. Those are the kind of stories that need to be told. Americans need to understand how exceptional this country is. And even though Alpha was an Iraqi foreigner, he loved America just as much or more than we did. I mean, the man loved this country. His hope was to get to America, get his family to America, because Saddam Hussein had killed his entire family, speaking out against the government when Saddam Hussein was in power. And that story just breaks your heart. We've got to keep this country. We've got to preserve this country. For the world, we're the light of the world. And, a lot of people don't agree with that. But I'll tell you, when you see what I've seen, it wakes you up.
He appreciated the Americans being there.
Oh, he loved it. And he was, I asked him, I said, well, why don't you stay here, and do something for your country because you're so smart and you're gifted. You need to stay here and try to help. And he was like, I'm tired of war. I want to go to America where I'm free from war. I can raise my family in peace, and we can be free. And that's happened to me twice in my life. I've been so blessed to run into people like that in other countries that express their feelings about America. It's amazing. Amazing.
So you really had to write this book. You had to write this book. People need to know this stuff.
They need to know. And basically the book is a battle. It's how to fight tyranny, serve your country at the same time, giving everything you have, protect this country because it's so valuable to the world. I just wish people would understand that. We take things for granted. We take a lot of things for granted here. When you go around the world and you see how other people live, like in Afghanistan and Iraq, I tell you, when I got home, I kissed the tarmac when we landed. I landed in New Jersey the first time. I kissed the ground when I got off the plane. That's how much I love this country. Of course, fighting tyranny was a big part of it. I started in 1993 investigating the IRS over a tax bill they give me. So I was figuring, if they can investigate me, I can investigate them. So I did. That turned into a big battle.
You investigated the IRS?
I sure did.
Oh,
absolutely.
What happened?
Well, it's a long story. I began investigating the IRS because my tax bill for that year in 1993 was $23,000. Well, I just got out of service, being young and full of vinegar, I said, you know what? Something's not right here. I'm not going to let them get by with this. I don't mind paying taxes, but this is ridiculous. I was working 70, 80 hours a week, you know. And so I said, you know what? I'm going to call them. So I called them and I said, you know what? You're investigating me. You give me a $23,000 tax bill. Now I'm going to investigate you. They didn't like it. They didn't like it at all. So I began corresponding with the IRS. They began sending me publications and laws, and then I got the IR code. Title 26 was still with the federal income tax. And I started looking through it, and I found some stuff that wasn't adding up. So I made a battle plan. I implemented the plan by putting my own plan in actions with the IRS. I told them everything I was doing, and they did not like it. And the information I found was a scam. And so I've got all the information in my book on this court battle.
Wait a minute. This book about Iran and Iraq and how much you love America also includes your battle with the IRS?
Yes, it does. It's a battle from one end of that book to the other.
Oh, man. Well, you hit a nerve on many, many levels here.
Yeah, that's true.
Did you win that battle?
Yes, I did.
You did?
I won. I don't consider it a victory because the IRS still exists. But for personally, yes, it was a victory.
Who has time to do this? Did you work while you were doing this?
I was working 70, 80 hours a week. I was putting in 50, 60 hours a week in research and study. I'm
going to have to get your book because I don't have time to do all that research. I'm afraid my head might explode.
It's going to explode.
It's going to explode?
I can tell you that right now.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
I'm just one of those dedicated Americans, and I believe America is here for a reason. It's here to be a light for the rest of the world to look to for freedom. And I'm going to do everything in my power to keep that for future generations. If I have to fight the IRS, I'll fight the IRS. If I have to do whatever I have to do to protect it, and I will go above and beyond the call of duty to do that.
All right. Well, listen, I'm keeping your number handy in case I have any problems. Okay. I'm gonna go right to you. All right?
All right.
Thanks, Stephen. Our next author wrote a story about families and neighbors. And, you know, I think a lot of people have had neighbors that they felt they had to protect themselves from to preserve the values that, you know, they hold dear. Well, Carol Graham joins us now, and she wrote The Prince of Her Dreams. Tell us your story, Carol.
Oh, it's about a family that has twin girls, and as they're growing up, they come around with families that have been in the area for quite a while. And then another family moves in and sort of takes over the town. And the second family that has bothered that one comes into view. And so these four families have teenagers that go to school together, grow up together. And the family that takes over is after some gold coins that the twin girls' parents are supposed to have. And in working to find a way to get those from the girls' parents, they end up admitting that they drove the girls' father out of business, and then they rehired him so that they could kind of have him under their thumb to do whatever they wanted to do. And just before everything breaks loose with his family in power, all the teenagers, they go out to dinner and dancing and such on graduation night, and the next day they go up a canyon to go swimming. And it ends up that rich man's son and one of the twin girls drown. And the rich man's just about to spring a trap on the girl's parents when this happens. He doesn't put off his plans, he just changes them a little bit so that he can force the father to hand over the gold coins.
Okay, all right. This is a lot of information. This is very detailed. Where did you come up with this story?
I originally started out with more of a 80 to 90s family with a grandma whose sister drowned. And when I sent it to be critiqued, they said, we want to know more about grandma. So I dropped that book and then wrote this one.
What's the moral of the story?
The aim of the story is that no one person can take advantage of another person without causing themselves grief and heartache. And no worldly success can compensate for failure in the family, failing to raise a good family.
Failing to have values and...
Yes,
Is this based on any real-life experience?
Yeah, a lot of it is. People that I've known and grew up around. And so I just thought, I wonder if I could put this together in a book. And I did, yeah.
You excited?
Yeah. When they first sent me the notice that I had a copyright number, I said, wow, I'm a number, not just a name.
Yeah, sometimes numbers are good. All right, Carol, thanks. Sticking with the family theme here, Mary McCarty simply wanted her family to know about a very special person in her life, and so she finally decided to write a tribute to her.
See You in the Morning is about the life of my mother. Her life was hard. It was very difficult. She was raised in very poor circumstances, but her life was very interesting. It came to my mind about 25 years ago when my older brother came in. I'm a hobby writer. I've never been one with aspirations to publish. My brother came in and I was writing, as I did quite often, and he said, I think the life of our mother would make an interesting story. But before we got to it, he had a stroke and was not able to do it. And so I finally decided to give it a try because I wanted it to go down to the younger generations in the family so they would know about their ancestors. Also, I did it as a tribute to him and in his memory.
What are some of the things you need us to know about her?
The main thing is that she gave birth to 12 children because her goal in life actually was to be a mother, and she proved to be a good one. She lived to be 90 years old, and during her lifetime, she lost 7 of those 12 children. See You in the Morning describes some of the joys and heartaches that she and my father had struggling to raise all those children. And once, the thing that I found very interesting about it was I'm the youngest of those children. And when I was born, the doctor said she cried because she knew she'd never have any more children. Can you imagine? And then she wanted to adopt children. And, of course, my father wouldn't agree because they couldn't hardly take care of the ones they had. But anyway, I just thought that was a remarkable story.
I think having 12 kids is remarkable. My great-grandmother had 17 children.
Wow.
And back in the day, you did lose a lot of children because they didn't have vaccines and a lot of the things that we have now.
Yes, true.
So, See You in the Morning, was that something your mom always said to you?
Oh, you want to know how that title came about?
Yeah.
Well, my older sister was more than 17 years older than me, and she died when I was 6 years old. And the last time my mother viewed her body, just before the burial, she bent down and said something in my sister's ear. She said, "See you in the morning." And I thought, oh, good, my sister's coming home tomorrow morning. I thought my beautiful sister was gone forever, but she's coming home tomorrow morning. And when she didn't come, I didn't understand, but I didn't question it. Many years later, I realized she was talking about the resurrection morning, because every time that she lost a child, she whispered that was the last thing she said to them, "See you in the morning." That's where the title came from.
That's so sweet, Mary. So how'd you find Paige?
Some of my friends read some of my stories, and they started saying, "Hey, you should publish it." You know, there are people out there who would know nothing about your family but would love to read about some of these experiences. So I talked to 3 or 4 publishers by phone, you know, and on the internet and so on. Actually, I saw Paige advertised on TV, and so I talked to them also. For one thing, their agreement was easy enough for an old woman like me to understand, whereas some of the agreements that I received were like almost 20 pages long just to submit a manuscript, and I found that I would have had to have a lawyer, and I just wanted to make it as simple as I could, and so I went with Paige, and here we are.
That's a beautiful story, Mary. I hope your family really appreciates it. And there's my cue to take a break. Coming up, a guy who spent 5 years in prison and turned his life around, and a man who loves his country, but stay with us.
Attention all authors. Page Publishing is looking for authors. Have you written a book and want to get it published? Page Publishing will get your book into bookstores and for sale online at Amazon, Apple iTunes, and other outlets. They handle all aspects of the publishing process for you. Printing, cover art, publicity, copyright, and editing. Call 800-204-6099 now for your free author submission kit. That's 800-204-6099 for your free author submission kit.
Welcome back to the Page Publishing Book Club. We're all about America on this 4th of July weekend. I'm your host, Alice Stockton Rossini. Our next author is fired up. He loves America, but he believes we have been deceived. Jim Allen, author of Smoke and Mirrors, is on the line.
Nobody has ever written a book like this book I wrote. It's completely different.
So what's different about it?
Well, it covers about 60 years of government cover-up and conspiracy.
60 years?
Yep.
Hence the title Smoke and Mirrors.
Yep. It's all smoke and mirrors.
Well, what makes you an expert on that?
Let's put it this way. When I was 11 years old, I saw something that very few people back then saw in 1952. And I went on a quest to find the truth. And a couple of years later, I found out the government was lying through their teeth to everybody about it because I actually saw it and was about 200 feet from it. And as a result, I kept going, and I kept searching. And by the time I was old enough to drive and got a driver's license and could be mobile and move around and go places, I was really after it because they were just lying more and more and more. And what happened is, on the path to find the truth about what I saw back then, I found out all these other things. And that's what the book is about the other things and how the people of America need to wake up and why they need to wake up because they're sound asleep.
What was it?
It was a disc in the air, a flying saucer.
Okay, and the government knew that this flying saucer existed but tried to act like, you were crazy and anybody who saw it was crazy.
That's what they did back then. And if you saw one, you didn't tell anybody because they'd commit you.
But there was more apparently after that, right?
More what?
Well, you had more experiences?
Not with flying saucers, with other people that had experiences with them. And I went on a search to find out, but the problem was what I found out, trying to find out about that. And what I found out was the truth about an awful lot of things in this country that we've been lied to forever.
Well, give me an example.
The assassination of John F. Kennedy. Do you believe that Lee Harvey Oswald acting alone killed John F. Kennedy?
No.
You do?
I do not. I've never believed that guy acted alone, ever.
Well, who said they did? Didn't the Warren Commission say they did?
Absolutely did.
That's right. So that's just a pretty big lie, isn't it?
It is.
Do you know there's no such thing as a truth fairy, Alice?
I do know that. Okay, but that's one that's been debated for years. I mean, even scholars have debated whether Lee Harvey Oswald was actually, the only guy involved. So give me another one.
How about the monetary system of the United States, the Federal Reserve,
okay,
and the rest of it? Do you believe that the Federal Reserve is a federal organization?
I'm going to have to say yes.
You do?
I do. Well, what is it?
Well, you need to read Chapter 3 of my book about the monetary system in this country, because that's the foundation for the country. When you build a house, you pour concrete, and if you do it right, the house will stand forever. If you do it wrong, the house is going to sooner or later come down. And our monetary system is the concrete behind our government, and it's all smoke and mirrors. The Federal Reserve is neither federal nor is there any reserve.
God, this is going to make it scary to even want to walk out the door.
Well, there's no reason to do that, but I'll tell you what's going on in this country is there's a complete agenda by people way above our political levels that are running the whole thing. And most of them that are doing this are not even Americans.
Who are they?
And, well, they're from countries all over the world. What would you say if I told you the president had a red phone on his desk and when it rang, he picked it up and said, yes, sir?
I'd say I don't believe you.
Okay, good. See, this is why you need to read my book, because you'll find out the truth.
Well, how do you know he's got a phone that he answers to someone from another country or from another place or whatever? How do you know this?
They all have, all the way back to Kennedy. Do you know why Kennedy was assassinated? There was really only one reason. It wasn't Castro. It wasn't the mafia. It wasn't any of that. There's one reason.
Okay.
He found out about the Federal Reserve. He knew about it. He knew how it had gotten into existence. He knew what they were doing, and he decided to put us back on the monetary system we had before. So he wrote Executive Order 11110, which was ordering the mints to start printing silver certificates again.
And that's why he got assassinated?
Absolutely.
Okay. It's a lot to digest.
Alice, the Federal Reserve isn't accountable, nor are they federal, nor is there any reserve, and they have never been audited in history. They never will be, and they completely control everything, and they charge us interest to print our own money, and that's what the trillions of dollars of deficit is against this country.
So who's in control of the Federal Reserve? China?
No, China has nothing to do with it. China is more or less an independent country on its own. Scary enough the way it is.
Who's running the Federal Reserve?
Listen, the monetary systems of this country, all the monetary systems, except for China, is one exception. And even Russia is involved in this. But there used to be 53 currencies in Europe, and now there's 3. And the euro buck is what you're talking about. Now, have you looked at some of our latest money, the money that they've been reprinting? Doesn't it sort of look like maybe a euro buck?
That's funny. I don't know about that.
The problem is, the real problem is it really isn't funny, but that's okay. The trouble is when people hear these things that they aren't familiar with, they don't believe them. And the problem is you have to dig to find out, but anybody can find out the truth if you dig hard enough, because it's right there. As you well know, the very rich are completely separating from what used to be called the middle class. They're the 1%ers. This country is headed for one thing, and that's the very rich and the very poor. What's going to happen here, we already, as they said the other night on the World News, live in an oligarchy. And the rich are controlling everything, and now they're buying politics. And they have been for 100 years, ever since the Federal Reserve was established.
What do you think of the Koch brothers?
They're buying the government. They're buying the government, Alice, and we are losing complete control of our country, our Constitution, and everything. It's no longer in effect. What I found out and wrote about in this book is the truth about what's happened since 1947 in this book. It actually goes way further back. It goes clear back to the Knights Templar in the 11th century, and it goes a lot further back than that. But that's just backup for what is really in existence today.
All righty then. Well, thank you for sharing with us. I appreciate it.
Well, you're welcome, and I would sure like to do another one after you read it.
All right, I want to do a show just with you, okay? That's what we need to do.
It'll light the airwaves up.
Yeah.
I promise you.
And we'll have people call in and challenge you. That would be so much fun. I got to tell you, I would love to do that. So, who knows?
I'll take any challenge you can bring on.
Oh, you got it, buddy. Okay, my head is spinning after that one, I got to tell you. All right, last but not least, Jacada Chambers, author of Based on a True Story, joins us, and he has got some story.
Spring break, my senior year of college, I was in Gainesville, Florida, got into a physical altercation that escalated into me stabbing a friend. I was sentenced to incarceration for 65 months, and during that incarceration is when I penned the first of the 3 novels.
You wound up in jail for 5 years for stabbing a friend. Is your friend okay? Did he forgive you?
My friend did live. I went to trial, and I actually lost that trial. I went to trial on the charge of first-degree attempted murder, and I was found guilty of second-degree attempted murder, which actually carried a penalty of 20-plus years, which in hindsight was was arguably one of my biggest blessings through the whole ordeal. I completed the sentence without hindrance and was released August 1st of 2004.
How's it been since then?
Zero complaints. I would think I made one of the better returns to society for someone who was incarcerated for a violent crime. I've held a job for the past 10 years, become a professional sports reporter, and it's all culminated, obviously, with this book. I wrote the book during my incarceration. I felt it had no substance if I didn't stay out. My key to success was obviously staying out of prison. So as I'm approaching my 10-year anniversary for that, that's when I knew it was in time to embark on the journey of being published.
Had you ever been in trouble before?
You know what? I had not. I was a senior in college. I played baseball at a Division III college in Illinois. And like I said, I was a fifth-year senior at the finish line and kind of got out of control on a spring break, my final spring break of college. Like so many kids do, you go with the mentality, I'm just going to party hard and get ready for these finals. And it ended up changing the course of my life without question. I
mean, it just seems like they really came down hard on you for somebody who had never been in trouble before.
I have an attorney who represented me on my appellate case. She agrees completely with you. It's hard for me to say that because I realize that it could have and should have been so much worse. So it's hard for me to even say I was mistreated, so to speak. But I could have. There were people who, in Gainesville City, by the same prosecutor that sentenced me, that had altercation end in a fatality. 2 kids jumped a guy, they beat him to death, and they were given 10-year suspended sentences and never did a day in prison. So I know for a fact I could have found more leniency from the court, but yet at the same time, they chose not to.
In your opinion, why is it so difficult? A lot of times a kid like you goes to behind bars and you become a criminal.
Right. Recidivism, I took so much effort into my incarceration to avoid recidivism. When I went to prison in 2000, the numbers were staggering. Like 78% of all black males from 18 to 35 that were incarcerated returned in 3 years. So I knew that, and I was cognizant of that my entire bid. So there was a conscious effort for me to avoid that. So during my incarceration, I literally tried to map out a scenario to put me in a position to not return to prison.
Is your book about this entire experience?
Correct. This is the first of a 3-part novel. My first book goes through all my trial procedures and my sentencing procedures until the day I was sentenced. Book 2 will detail my entire 55-month incarceration until the day upon me being released. And then my third book will attack my return to society, ending at the 7-year mark with my first child.
Wow, so you have a kid now and everything, huh?
It's amazing. I do meet my wife, who was my girlfriend at the time during my incarceration, my college sweetheart. We have been married 10 years this August, and we have a child. My child, at 7 months, was diagnosed with brain cancer. So within 24 hours, we had a 9-hour brain surgery where our life was really turned upside down. I mean, my real crucible came at that moment. And so that's where my book 3 will end, and then I'll attack our whole journey with him.
What a life you've had, my gosh. And you sound like the most positive guy anybody would ever want to meet.
I appreciate that, and I consider myself one of the, because it has been my tool to succeed. During my incarceration, my mother passed, my father passed, my grandmother. These are people, my parents raised me. I don't have too many friends whose mother and father reared them the whole procedure and process. Mine were there. They did not deserve for me not to be there. And I think that has really motivated me to, stay positive and realize that I blew it once. Let's try to make something good of it.
How are you getting your book out there? How are you publicizing your book?
It's been on the shelf for a couple weeks. I started a Facebook post, which has had a tremendous buzz, and I'm beginning a local media campaign where a couple newspapers in our area are going to be doing some reports, and then I'm going to get a couple YouTube videos. I'm attempting to get on one of our morning talk shows here and just kind of go with the field. My goal initially wasn't to sell a zillion copies, but with the response I've gotten the first 10 days, I have literally changed my focus. I think I have something with great potential here.
Well, I would have to agree with that. And you know what? We are out of time. Thank you so much for being with us. Tune in next week for another edition of the Page Publishing Book Club. I'm Alice Stockton Rossini. Enjoy the rest of your week.